For the third time this year, linear approximation. And I'm kind of half toying with the idea of not even doing this at all, because we've already done it twice as 2 full sections. This is the third full section of doing the same thing. So my thought is I'll basically just remind you of what it is and then move on. But I thought I would take your opinion since, we'll be testing on it, so I didn't want to, I know how to do it, so it's not for me. I'll put it that way, right? I just felt like you guys probably remembered it decently once we review it. So linear approximation is when, for some reason, you are not able to find an exact value. So if you have a curve, is there a drawing down below? No. Okay, I'll draw it. Let's say you have a curve, and for some reason you can't find the value right there. Linear approximation is when you are able to find the value nearby. What you would do is take the tangent line nearby. Bad tangent line drawing, but we'll go with it. You take the tangent line nearby and plug in the value that you cannot find into the tangent line. So this red dot right there would be a close answer. And so they call that a linear approximation because it's an approximation that's going to be close. And you have to find the tangent line. Once you find the tangent line, then you plug in the value that you're not able to find or what you're trying to approximate. That's a tangent line approximation. And we most definitely have done it twice. The first time was called linear approximation. The second time they called it, it had different wording. I don't even remember what it was for now. I feel like it was something for word problems or something like that. Either way, the notation can be different. This isn't the notation for a tangent line in a sense, but we should know it is because f of a is the same thing as saying y1. F prime of a is m. X minus a is the x1. So this is just point slope form of a tangent line solved for y. I realize that's not even legible, but so they traditionally will give it a capital L, and when they write the capital L, that means that they want you to find the linear approximation at that spot. I don't remember if we talked about this, but I thought we did. I thought we talked about overestimate, underestimate, but I don't remember. Okay. It's not going to be a big deal currently because concavity or curvature is what we're going to go over in detail when we get to 5.3. So 5.3 is going to be the first derivative test, which, whatever, I know you don't know what that is yet, that's fine. Oh, actually, no, it won't be until second derivative test, 5.4. The second derivative of a function represents its curvature. That part we've talked about. If a graph is curving upwards, your tangent line will be below it, so it would be an underestimate. If your graph is curving downwards, your tangent line would be an overestimate because it's above it. that's what this is. I'm not necessarily going to be testing you on this information yet, because like I said, it's part of first derivative and second derivative tests that we haven't learned. This is just trying to expose you to that. The other thing they will reference is percentage error, not this. Down below, there we go. I'm trying to remember the term for this. I mean, I know it says something up here. I want to say there's a term for that in real life, like level of accuracy or something like that. But we're not going to do anything with that. We may have to find the percentage error, which just means how far off is your guess from the exact answer. And you do that by subtracting the two answers and dividing it by the exact. And we don't care if it's positive or negative. I don't know, should we do example 2 or something, or? Sure? Otherwise, there's an example on the next page with an actual equation.
Did you do number 3 on the next page?
Is that the signed one?
That's, yeah.
Yep, sure. Okay. And then we'll do this and then we'll just move on. I'm not even sure if I should assign the homework or not. I'll think about it. Like maybe what would be good for you is to just pick some random different types of homework questions and just try them to see if you know how to do them. Okay, so we are given y equals sine of x at x equals pi thirds. And we are going to pretend that we are not able to find that answer. Go with it. So it says we know the ordered pair corresponding to this angle is 1/2 square root of 3 over 2. Oh, that's on the unit circle though. Since the angle pi thirds is about 1.047, we are going to try to find the linear approximation for 1.05. So this is kind of the notation that you would see. To find the linear approximation, I need the tangent line information from y equals sine of x at pi thirds. And that's because 1.05 isn't one we would know off the top of our heads, but we would know the information at pi thirds. Okay, so I'm going to leave this blank because that's what we're going to fill in, but I need to find the tangent line at pi thirds. Tangent line needs 2 things. Rather than calling people to come up here. What 2 things we need? Point and a slope. Okay. The point would be x equals pi thirds. That's why I don't like that they wrote that way. It's kind of misleading. Okay, what would be the y value at sine of pi thirds? Okay? Yeah, because that's 60 degrees. I was thinking 1/2 in my head, but that's 30 degrees. Okay? The slope we'll have to figure out by taking the derivative of sine of x. So y prime is cosine of x. We need to find the slope at pi thirds. Bless you. Pi thirds, cosine would be the first number. So slope is 1/2. Now, I don't usually write point slope form like this, but I know some of you guys do, because I mean, like the way you write it on tests and things. Point slope form is slope times x minus x1. x1 would be pi thirds plus y1. Rather than have y1 on the left-hand side, this is everything together. So square root of 3 over 2. What I should erase I wrote the equation for L of X. I didn't write for L of 1.5, 1.05. The linear approximation of 1.05 would be me putting 1.05 in place of X. Now here's my whole problem with these problems in the first place, is we need a calculator to find this answer. Picture shows it. And we do that by looking at that. If I need a calculator in the first place, I wouldn't even be trying to do an approximation. I would just use the calculator to find that answer that I apparently can't find. Now, I know these may have purposes in other things, but I'm just not a fan of it. I have no idea what that is. Did somebody type that in yet? 0.867. Is there more numbers?
8674266.
Now, the only reason I asked this is because the next question is to find the error. Or oh, actually, I was going to find percent error.
Mr. McLeod, I just have a question. Can you put how
These two?
Yeah.
The point would be the x value,
Mm-hmm.
and then the y value is going to be sine of pi thirds. So you can find sine of pi thirds different ways. They gave us the unit circle info right here so that you wouldn't have to like figure it out or look it up for some reason. So sine of pi thirds is the second number on the unit circle. So that's where the point came from. The slope came from me taking the derivative of that equation, cosine, and then plugging pi thirds into my derivative. Because we were trying to find the tangent line at pi thirds. I guess I didn't specify that either. So for me to find the percent error, I need to take the exact value minus the approximate value and divide by the exact value. The exact value would be sine of 1.05. This is where I was trying to say, like, we need a calculator regardless. The approximate value is what we just found. I only wanted more decimals to make it pretty exact, because I don't know how far off this is. And I would divide by sine of 1.05, which is the original number, to compare how far off they are. This is going to be a tiny number. Okay, repeat that. 3 point what?
3.9226595.
This was the important part, times 10 too.
Negative.
I don't know why the graphic calculators do that frequently. This one you 100% could have just written in regular, like it could have given the answer normally. So 3 zeros, 392. And if we want this as a percentage, this apparently would be 0.0392%. Yeah,
What I give you was after I multiplied by that.
Oh, thank you. That's okay. So this was actually -6.
Yeah.
Okay? That's a really small percentage. Huh. Well, I mean, I guess that should make sense since 1.05 is awfully close to 5/3. So it shouldn't be no far off no matter what. Okay, I don't know, this is about as difficult as linear approximation gets. The only thing different I can think of that you may see on an AP test, which we're gonna try to practice before we get there, is this example that was at the bottom of the front page. Oh, I guess not the bottom. Is rather than you being given equations, you very well may be given information like this. So it'll give you a point, it'll give you a slope, concavity if you want it, but not an equation. So we would be able to figure out all that info from what's up here, because we need a point and the slope for the tangent line. Okay, I'm gonna call that good on 4-5 because we've seen it so often. If you need practice on 4-5, that's not a problem. I mean, like, you have a lot of practice there available for you to try it. If you need some refreshing on it, I can certainly help you with it if you need it. You know, like I just didn't feel like the time was worth it for it. Is it this one? Yeah. Oh, they spelled it wrong in the packet. Don't you speak, aren't you like French or something? What? Does she still speak French? I thought I remember asking her for it. Or like she was talking about it. Like for pronunciation. Maybe it was somebody at your table. Does anybody here French? Speak French? Don't we offer French? But nobody takes it? Wow, bummer. Oh, French sounds the best. Not that, that's about it, you know. Okay, so, L'Hôpital was a French man. I have seen it spelled multiple ways, and I've seen it, heard it pronounced multiple ways. The most common is L'Hôpital. My guess is that's more of the French accent in the name. 100% people will call it La Hospital, because then you absolutely know how to spell it in your brain. It is actually spelled without the S, though. So my guess is this little symbol, I know nothing of French. This is just my deduction. My guess is this little symbol eliminates the need for the S, or something like that is my guess. I usually see it spelled without the S. But La Hospital, super easy to remember. Who knows if he'd be offended if we called him La Hospital? I would guess. Yeah, I was gonna say, French generally get offended at a lot of things. So, bless you. So you will hear it pronounced L'Hôpital and not La Hospital, that was, you know, that's just whatever he remembers. L'Hôpital and La Hôpital? I'm trying to remember. I don't know. I heard it as L'Hôpital the first time, and that's just how I remember it. You're gonna see multiple spellings and hear multiple pronunciations. They're all the same. Now, I know you're going to dislike this section. Oh, only one reason. Only one reason.
Oh, great. Yay.
So here's the weird part of this topic. We can't teach this to you in the limits unit, because to be able to use L'Hôpital's rule, you have to do derivatives of limits. So, this is actually a good thing. This makes a lot of the limits that you learned the first time a lot easier. So this isn't a bad thing. Like, we would have been able to do shortcuts so many times in the limits unit if I could have just told you to use L'Hôpital. And so on the AP test, this is a huge win. What? Oh. No, you're actually going to find the process very easy. Remember when we did limit as x approaches 0 of sine of x over x? Way too many just said no.
What'd you say?
So this was one of the two special trig limits that you were just supposed to memorize, because we had no way of finding the answer other than using a calculator. 1 minus cosine x over x was the other one, yep. Now there was an actual proof of how to find this answer using the squeeze theorem. You probably remember that phrase, but we didn't do it because we skipped. Like, we don't have to do the squeeze theorem. This particular one we could have solved with L'Hopital's very fast and easily. What happens if we put 0 in for x? It's actually not undefined. I didn't want to talk about the difference at the time. So this is called an indeterminate. Undefined is when you have a number over 0. They actually make a distinction between them. Indeterminate means you have no idea what this represents, because 0 can't go into 0. Like, it's not a measurable amount. So this means about as close to nothing. No, that's bad phrasing. This is very worthless in math terms, because you have no idea what this represents. They can prove that this answer is 1. They can prove that this answer is e to the first. I've seen proofs of 0 over 0 equal to a lot of different answers, and it's really weird. So in math terms, this means it's worthless. So an indeterminate, there are actually a bunch of indeterminates. If you get an indeterminate, you are allowed to take the derivative of the top and the bottom individually, and then replug in the same number. And cosine of 0 is 1. And that's what L'Hopital's is. If you get an indeterminate as an answer, you are allowed to take the derivative of the top and the bottom as many times as needed until you get a number answer. Now, the main thing I want to point out to you guys, notation-wise, this is blatantly wrong, and they will not give you any credit for it. This is kind of a... Okay, math teachers, we're really boring, right? Like, this is considered a hot topic for AP Calc. Because 3 years ago, they made every AP Calc teacher go to a workshop in the middle of the school year to tell us this is not allowed. And they will mark this wrong, because all Calc teachers were teaching it like this, myself included. This is how I learned it. Now, it's not to say that the answer is wrong. So on multiple choice, you don't have to have any kind of notation at all. They don't look at your work. So on multiple choice, you can write it however you want. On free response, they made us meet to tell you the correct way to show the notation. It was horrible. So somewhere that you have free space, I don't even care if it's on another sheet of paper, maybe you can write, maybe we should just take one of the examples. Yeah. How about let's just do example 1, cross it off, and then use that space to write this. So we're going to do the exact same problem. Are you serious? What are you doing? Is this like Deuce third hour?
Oh, yeah.
Marvel. Time management. Okay, don't write what I'm writing this second. Here's what they told us was very wrong. This is where they will immediately mark it wrong. And the reasoning is the equal symbol means it has an answer. 0 over 0 isn't a real thing, and apparently is like so worthless in math terms that if you write equal 0 over 0, that's wrong, because it can't be equal to that. So, what they would like you to do is say, since the limit, you make it sound like I was happy to do this. It was very good timing on you guys' part, unplanned. This is why the hospital is going to be important. And yes, like, the groan you guys made was the same noise every single teacher made when they showed us this because it's stupid. It doesn't matter if we think it's stupid, we're not grading the test. So, since you're not allowed to say equals 0 over 0, you're allowed to say the top answer is 0, the bottom answer is 0, and that's an indeterminate. So we can use L'Hopital. And so then what you do is you rewrite. Oh, yeah, believe me, I understand. This seems like a very large waste of brain space to do this. Yes?
Can you just write, limit x0 sine x over x equals indeterminate, and then,
Say it again?
like, do we, instead of putting equals 0 over 0, can we say equals indeterminate, and then? there's-
Nope, that'd be just as wrong,
Okay.
because
That'd be too easy.
the equals signifies that's an answer.
Isn't equals the same as saying is? Like it is indeterminate, it equals that, would that be the same thing?
Not in their opinion?
What about like the thing, like?
I'm not, yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Yeah. I'm not using geometry things here.
You have to use proper grammar. If you add more
Um, I don't know how far off you can be on grammar. They didn't really describe that part. They just told us what to do.
What are they teaching?
3 years ago when we got called into the workshop. So what had happened is they had a L'Hopital's question on the free response the year before. And they discovered that virtually every single person wrote it the normal way. And they were,
And they said that was.
they were shocked.
Oh.
Wow. So, this is mathematically correct, so that's what they would like, right?
Literally.
Let's go with it. So, you will have to write this to be able to write the derivative down below. The important thing is not to write equals 0 over 0. Okay? And then now that I've written the derivative version, then I can say cosine of 0 over 1 equals 1 over 1 equals 1. Now this is a way more annoying process when you have to do L'Hopital's more than once. I know. Yep.
Will we have to write that on our test, like all that garbage?
Okay, I did not call it garbage.
Did you write all
That
that waste
feels,
of brain space?
that feels like a lot lower than me saying this feels like a lot, it's extra.
Okay.
You said a waste of brain.
Well, we still have to write it on the test.
Yes, still not garbage. No math is a waste of brain space. What?
That's not math, that's English.
Well, you said that.
English is waste of.
Yeah, I was trying to say it backwards, let's just, I'm bad at grammar. Let's- oh, fuck.
Well, the reason I hate this more.
No, actually, the topic is super nice for you.
Oh, okay.
90% of your L'Hopital's questions will be on multiple choice. So on multiple choice, you just look at the problem and like do it in your head, and you just write the correct answer. On the chance that there is a L'Hopital's question on free response, I'm trying to show you what you would have to do.
You had to apply more than once, but you have to like continue writing your FXs.
Yeah, we're not gonna do that many times.
Yeah, I was just wondering if you had to rewrite that.
Unfortunately, yes.
This garbage equals zero.
What's the, like, is there a record for how many times you have to complete that? Like. you
Okay,
said-
there's only been, it's only been on free response twice.
Okay, but like, you said that you keep doing it until you get a plausible answer, right?
Yes, if it's a free response question.
Okay, so how many times have they had you do it? 10 times? Once? Okay,
On free response, it's been once.
okay, great.
I'm trying to tell you what the official way would be.
Okay.
You're going to run into it in multiple choice, for sure. Doesn't matter how you write it. Free response, so far it's been once every 3 years.
So that means.
They don't tell us what questions are gonna be on there, we just kinda go by patterns.
Once every 3 years, how many years?
I just said, they don't tell us what's gonna be on there.
But when was that?
So I'm not going to plan by saying, well, this was 3 years ago, so this year we're gonna have it, so we're only gonna learn it this year.
Was it, so was there one last year? 4 years ago?
I don't think so. I think it was 2 years ago, it was last year.
Oh.
Yep.
Well,
Okay, the last time I tried to predict a question, I was just flat out wrong.
Great.
And I tried preparing people for that question, I was predicting to be on there. I'm not gonna do that again.
Oh.
No. No, okay, that's the one you crossed out, correct? All right, let's go to 2. Oh, so much worse.
Oh,
Oh,
lovely.
All right, number 2. I plug in -5 in my head. I don't write it down. 4 plus 5 is 9. 3 minus 3, 0.
Yep.
0, so I can't write equals 0, 0. What I can write is since.
Mark me wrong, I dare you.
Since the limit, as x approaches, -5. So I want you guys to practice this for homework. On our test, I probably will not do this. I said probably.
Oh, no.
The tests have to be in agreement between Mr. Stouffer and I. So I'm not gonna guarantee what's on and off it. We haven't written it yet. Come on. Equals 0. And the limit. 5x. F. Oh, they don't have it say f of x. The limit would be. Go ahead and answer. What were you trying to answer?
Oh, never mind.
Okay. If you want to abbreviate L'Hopital's as L parentheses H, they probably accept that. I just like writing La Hospital. Now on that first page, by the way, there were a lot of different indeterminates. 0 over 0 is by far the most common one you'll run into, as well as infinity over infinity. Okay, well then now, I would say the limit as x approaches -5, the derivative of square root of 4 minus x, so that is gonna be 1/2 4 minus x to the -1/2 times -1 minus 0 over 1. Oh, I like it.
The derivative.
I'm assuming that's gonna be an answer that we can get,
Wait, why is it on the top instead, or like where -3 is?
the derivative of -3 is 0.
Yeah.
This -1 is the derivative of 4 minus x. Now I'm just trying to plug that in. So 9 to the -1/2 would be 1/3. 1/2 times 1/3 would be 1/6 times -1 would be -1/6. I don't know if I have to write equals -1/6 on that or not. I'll do it anyway.
Wouldn't that be wrong?
What part?
Saying the top equation equals -1/6?
No, because that was the question.
What, don't you have to use only small quotient rule for the,
Oh, yes. So L'Hopital's is not normal derivatives. L'Hopital's is the derivative of the top and the derivative of the bottom individually. It is not correct. Hopefully this will not screw you up between quotient rule and this. This only works for limits, for L'Hopital's, etc. Right. If I just ask you to find this derivative, that's quotient rule.
Well, how is it, so 4 plus 5 is 9, 1/2 9 is 4 plus
9 to the -1/2 means 1 over square root of 9. So that's 1/3. Times 1/2. 1/6 times -1. You don't have to do it in your head, you can write it down, huh?
In the equation, or should it be like side work?
Whatever.
Or like,
It's not wrong to write it down. The only thing you can't write down is equals 0 over 0. I was not trying to scare you off of writing. Why are you guys not going? Keep him in check.
I wasn't the one who asked the question. I didn't need that information.
That sounds so much worse. You're like trying to put down somebody else to
yeah, thanks.
justify you being on your phone, playing darts.
0 over 0 is anywhere on your paper, they will work it wrong.
Yeah. 0 over 0 is not allowed to be written as a mathematical statement.
This is like are we required to use pen for response questions?
I think it has to be pencil, actually.
Oh, okay, good, because in other classes it's like 10, 'cause we could.
Yeah, I don't know why they have different rules on that. But even if you were using pen, they don't want you to erase things on the test. You can, but you tell you not to, A, for wasting time, B, you might rip the paper.
is it that thin?
I don't know, but some people erase aggressively. They want you to cross off what you don't want graded.
If you cross off a 0 over 0,
Yeah.
is it fun?
Guys, we're going too far. Just don't write 0 over 0.
This is going insane.
Anything that is crossed off is not looked at.
Okay.
You would still have to write the rest.
Yes.
Yeah, you 100% can cross that off, then they will not look at it.
Great.
It is,
Sure they were like, oh, they got it.
it's part of the directions on the test, but it says on your free response questions, anything that is crossed out will not be graded or looked at.
So if the top was a regular integer and the bottom was 0, would that be indeterminate?
No.
That would be
Undefined.
okay. And undefined is an acceptable answer?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't make the rules. I follow them.
Wait, it is or isn't?
Undefined is acceptable.
Is acceptable.
Not for L'Hopital's, but for other parts of questions. L'Hopital's doesn't apply for undefined. You guys are getting very tied up in some loophole, trying to look for loopholes. Don't look for loopholes on a test you're being graded on.
We already do that, though.
Okay, it's a standardized grading test that determines lots of thousands of dollars if you pass it. Quit trying to look for loopholes. Just learn how to do it.
Do it right the first time, dang it.
No, there's nothing wrong with getting it wrong the first time. You learn it.
Learn it right. Learn it right.
You guys are so focused on loopholes on every single rule the school has, between retakes and like grades, everything, like, holy cow, just like learn it. It would be so much less work than looking for loopholes. Wait, what time do we get done?
27.
27. There's nothing wrong with loopholes, just do them for school.
No, they're great. Do them for taxes.
Well, you get paid for it then.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's pretty much what an accountant is. Okay, so negative infinity squared would be infinity. E to the positive infinity would be infinity. Therefore, L'Hopital's applies. I will not write. I kind of like that idea though, right? Equals infinity of infinity and it crops it out.
Yeah, like, just do it to be a spite, a little bit of a bit.
I should probably try to look that up, see if that's like a actual.
Just be spiteful. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not trying to, no.
Um,
Quit trying to get reactions out of the people who are grading your test.
Can I draw a smiley face for like
No.
I might like joke some, like, I don't know what I'm doing. Please.
It's like somebody in my class that writes IDK. There's not a chance I'm giving you any points. You don't tell somebody that you don't know it,
what if
you
we
just guess.
cross off the IDK?
I feel like you are in debate. Definitely notice my handwriting gets worse when I don't want to write it. Okay. I feel like I should have somebody come up and write what the second one should be.
Picture.
Let's marvel. I was gonna roll, but then you were still working on that. All right.
Oh, I saw this,
Did you watch any of the previous ones?
a little bit.
Well, I was gonna say, I was assuming that you were still watching while trying to work, but I just wanted to make sure you knew how to do it. That's why I called you up. What are you writing?
I think I'm doing it wrong.
You definitely are, yes.
I gotta call it someone.
Absolutely. You are writing the one thing that we are not allowed to write.
Walter will help me out.
Okay. You think he will? Oh, you're going up there, Walter? Oh, okay, all right. Just being nice. 100% you should watch the recording to find out what to do, what not to do. no, you're about to write the unthinkable.
Which means we gotta do it again.
It's indeterminate again. It's infinity over infinity again. I know, isn't that awesome?
It's going to be like this forever.
It is not.
I don't have enough on my paper.
Can anybody predict what the answer is going to be from the pattern?
1 over e.
What did you say?
1 over.
So the next derivative would be 2
It's
over
gonna be 0.
infinity or negative infinity. I think it's negative infinity maybe, but
It'll be 0. Won't it?
yeah.
Yeah, it'd be 0.
Wait, I have a question.
I'm trying to think if that's going to be allowed to be written or not. They really didn't specify much about the work in between. I would think that would be okay and allowed.
What would happen if you were given the question e to the x over e to the x with limit approaching infinity?
Which one?
Okay, e to the negative x and e to the x.
Well, it's going to be something. Are you trying to say one that would go on forever?
Yes.
Gotcha. Hello? Hi. Sure. Yeah, bye-bye. Brooke?
Wait, why are you saying you think that'll be accepted? Like, what's wrong?
So this will become infinity over infinity. But we didn't write that, so I would think this should be fine. Yeah.
For this, and you have to do it again the second time. You
Yeah.
have to start with sense limit of x equals blah, 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 then, or can you just use the word that is up there and just write the what it is?
Nope. So this information would be down underneath,
Okay.
and you would completely restart the process. And then the actual question would be down here. Now, answering your question, there are limits that will be permanently indeterminate or unsolvable, and that's basically going to be the answer.
So you would write unable or?
So it wouldn't be on the Fourier's bounds,
Okay.
strictly because of time, because you would have to get to the stage to find out that'll happen, and even doing shortcut in notation would, like, they're not going to do that. It may be on multiple choice, and one of the choices may say unsolvable, not enough, something like that. They will not have none of the above, though. They actually are very nice on the multiple choice portion where none of the above is not ever an option. I know that's usually cruel on multiple choice. So they will not have that as an option.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, we'll definitely continue this because there's more to go, because not every question is going to look like a fraction like this, and so it's.
Wait, so what happened to last one?
Oh, sorry. Well, we didn't finish it, right? So what will happen is the next derivative would become 2 on the top. The bottom would become e to the negative x. And when you plug in negative infinity, it would become 2 over infinity, which is 0.